Hey, okay. Hi, everybody. We were just talking in the green room. I had a MRI last week. God, I hate those things. They are just, they're just not. It is a form of torture, I think. For those of us that are claustrophobic. I was with one of my book club friends I saw at the post office, and she's like, "Oh, I love them. I just lay there," and I'm just like, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?" It's like I love.
I don't know if love is the descriptor.
I know. She's like, "Oh yeah, I just go in and just lay there and relax," and it's just like, "Oh my God." Because the noise and stuff doesn't bother me. That I was like, whatever. You can be as loud as you want. I don't care. It's just that the machine is like right here. And it's like, oh my God. But aside from that, lots of good things to talk about. Um, Lots of new stuff coming. And the fall is here. The fall's always fun because there's lots of good releases in the fall. Lots of good things to talk about. Um, what do we got going on this week? We have a couple events at the store, and then next week we've got some virtual stuff. So we'll put that into the newsletter that Amanda will send out tomorrow. And okay, just real quick, I'm going to tell you about Nancy Warwick read this. I'm about that far into it. I'm almost done. Um, if you remember Heart's Invisible Furies, it's been a few years since John Boyne wrote Heart's Invisible Furies. This is so good. I don't think it's Hearts of Visible Furies good because that's just to me that's just a book in itself. But the elements, so he does obviously air, fire, water, earth is what he does. Um, his writing is just so good, and there are some that there's some like moments where you're just like, oh my God. So it's got a little bit of a dark element, which is, you know me, love my dark books. So if you liked Hearts of Visible's Furies, you're gonna like this because you love his writing. You haven't read Hearts of Visible Furies, read that first. But the elements, really good. Really good. Love it. So yay, Lori. I love that you were at the store today. Came home with a nice haul. So love that. Oh,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad you got this one too. So good. So, anyways, just excellent writing. I was in a little bit of a slump. This has absolutely pulled me out of my slump. So, I read probably 300 pages between yesterday and today. So, it's a good one. All right. It's going to go Andrea, Julia. I think we have everything set up for you guys to share. So, Andrea, take it away and tell us what you have this week.
Well, I'm happy to be back. Thank you, everyone,
Yes,
for
glad to
your
have you
patience.
back.
Good to know that you're all out there still buying books. Good work, Lori. The first book I wanted to talk about today is The Book of I. This is by David Gregg. And
Great cover.
yeah, this is was named it's basically this brilliant Scottish debut, and booksellers here, after it was shortlisted for the Highland Book Prize over in the homeland, um, um, it was selected as a Indies Introduce debut novel for September. So that's great. It's always nice to see that, which basically means that all of the various and sundry indies around the country um, agree that this is a startling debut and they want it to be in every indie bookstore in the land. And it is right now. This is from Europa Editions. And yes, they don't always do books in translation, but this is English with a brogue for sure. And what can I say about it? It blends a very real historical place, the Isle of Iona, and a monastery that used to be there, with fiction, that in a magisterial voice. Yes, it is magisterial, Amanda. I know you're rolling your eyes somewhere out there, but um, the this magisterial voice like combines like horror, humor, and romance, really, the heart, the journey of the heart, seamlessly, and in equal parts. It's very strong. And let me see if I can get a good clarifying quote here. There's a tons to choose from. A brilliantly funny and visceral first novel. There are distant echoes of George Mackay Brown, but Greg has always been an original. The Book of I is a brilliant start to his career in prose. He's a poet, and the great thing about poets is they seem to be able to translate their poetic voice and love of language quite well into prose. So we're happy to have this on the list, and it is out now, and there's a quantity at Warwick's for y'all.
Sounds like it's right up my alley. So I'm gonna have to get my hands on that one.
Yep.
It is, yep. And Europa, I'm sorry, you can't go wrong with Europa. So
No. We'll be talking later about a long list title that they have on the Booker Prize.
did the Booker right? When did that come out? Last week?
Long list.
I did.
The long list came out in August, but
Oh, okay.
the short list is coming out this week, I believe. So,
Okay.
and right now we're like 4-1. The bookies, the literary bookies, have us 4-1.
Wow.
But I'll be talking about that a little bit later.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. We'll hold on that one. Yes, well done on the magisterial, Amanda. She did she did you justice there. And for those of you that aren't sure about my curly hair here, this is what my hair normally looks like when I feel like, what is it? I just rewatched The Way We Were, and like Katie on there, she irons her hair. This is what my hair looks like when it's not ironed. So this is like, and this is kind of tame even with that. And sometimes it can get like when we did the RF Kwong event, it was so hot. We were like, we literally were signed, 1,800 books in 45 minutes. We were like, we were cranking. And I just felt my hair getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when I think it was, I can't remember who took our staff picture at the end. Do you guys remember from the Flintstones, Kazoo? The marsh?
Yes, I do.
So my hair looked like it was just like, oh my God, throw that picture away. Anyways.
Kazoo had a great little space outfit.
Oh, he was awesome. Loved Kazoo. All right. I digress. Julia, save me.
Right. Well, mine, oops, I hit the wrong button. Mine is a big boy this week.
Oh.
My first one is
Oh, I loved this.
Ken Follett. New novel by Ken Follett. It's a big boy in every sense of the word because, of course, Ken Follett writes big, thick novels. But if you liked Pillars of the Earth, you will like Circle of Days because Circle of Days is a somewhat similar treatment to Pillars of the Earth, except it is about Stonehenge and the making of Stonehenge. And Ken Follett got access to the behind the scenes of Stonehenge, like literally got to go through the archives at Stonehenge and go like research all of this stuff that a lot of people are not allowed to go in and research. They allowed Ken Follett in. You can see it's got a starter view from Kirkus, but this is just Julie read it and said, it's funny when she was reading it, we were at a conference and she said, like, I read it so fast. And she told me how fast she read it. And I was like, that's bananas, Julie. But
He did.
You read it in like what, 4 days?
Oh, I think less than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was done with it. I was done. Well, I love Ken Follett. First of all, I love Ken Follett and I love the way he tells a story. So there's that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, please. I was handing the floor to you.
Okay. Yeah, because I love the way he writes and he tells a story because he gives you these things that are steeped in like history. But what I loved about this was he didn't try to like recreate what kind of language they were speaking back then. You know what I mean? And I appreciated that because it was just like he was telling this story of a time when there's hardly any records about it. So it's like, what are you going to write? And he just like takes you in though, and you're in this, and it's plausible what he's thinking that how these stones moved, but more about the people of the time and the hierarchical situation of who, and there were gatherers, it was fascinating. I loved every minute of it. And it helped that I was like, I think I read it either right before or right after that I actually did go to Stonehenge. So it was like all of that was just like right in my brain. And it's so
Wow.
it's a quintessential Ken Follett,
Yeah.
and I loved every minute of it.
And also just to say, like, don't be intimidated by the size,
No.
because it is very readable.
Yeah.
So you can really sort of snap through it.
And you step through it, and it's, and I loved, the priestesses, and there's just things that he's puts in the story that is just, yeah, he is a fantastic storyteller, and
Yeah,
you will
and he
read it, yeah,
creates a rich narrative.
for
So
sure. And yeah, because it is like 1,000 pages or something crazy, or
it's
maybe not that.
704.
Okay, I was
704.
giving myself more credit for reading 1,000 pages.
No, you're close. I mean, we can, round up.
Well, that's what this, yeah, no, that's what isn't that long. Yeah, it was 700's a lot. But no, don't
Yeah.
be timid, because it's literally, it won't let take you a month to read it. It will
Yeah,
not.
so that's out tomorrow. Ken
Love
Follett.
it. Love it. Love Ken Follett. Okay. All right, Andrea.
Oh goodness. I am sorry. I was fielding an email from Warwick's buyer and manager about a B2B, a business to business
Ooh.
order. And
Those are taking precedence over our tea time here.
well, like it's time sensitive, and I'm so sorry, guys.
That's okay.
That's really embarrassing.
I'll tell her that you're on tea time with us.
Yeah, no, it's my fault. So I want to talk about Byron in 10, let me just share this. Byron in 10 letters. Now in trade paperback. This is from Cambridge University Press, and one of my favorite books published in the last few years. And Andrew Stouffer is a Byron obsessional, as well as like an academic specialist on that period of literature. And he basically lays out Byron's life in 10 letters, like as this basically, suggests from the title. And it's just amazing how he does it. I mean, so each chapter, there's 10 chapters plus the introduction, and he lays out, there's a photograph. If the letter is extant in written form, there's a photograph of it from the archives. And then he talks about that period in Byron's life that the letter refers back to, as well as the people in his life, usually many women. Yes, he was a rake. He was a scoundrel. As many poets are, come to find out. But anyway,
they're just too sensitive.
He really was something else. I'll tell you what. I did learn a lot more about his wayward ways by reading this book, and it's just fascinating. His life was amazing. And then he dies of a fever like while he's out traveling, so that sucks. But anyway, dies really young. So he leaves a beautiful corpse, as all romantic poets should. What else? Oh, the thing that I also like about this is that it's heavily illustrated with pictures of where he lived, the room where he died, that sort of thing. Various portraits of him, and as well as like portraits of the people that populate these letters. So it does a great job of contextualizing everything visually as well. And I just think this is a dynamite little book. And let me see. Can I get out of? I can't really get out of the.
I'll get you out.
Yeah, thanks. Because I'm trying to find out thank you. What the price is now. $22.95, which is great for 412 pages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not so little of a book.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit smaller trim size, so
Okay.
but I just think it's dynamite. It got amazing reviews. Like it got one of the most amazing reviews I've ever read in the New York Review of Books. The New York Times gave it a great mention, the New Yorker. It's one of these books that crosses, it's an academic title, but it definitely crosses over to like the trade friendly or carriage trade type of store, just because of the subject matter, and love it. So
Yeah.
thanks, Mallory, for bringing this in. I may have strong armed her a little bit because it is one of my favorites, but I think it's going to sell.
I do
And
too. And I think it's that kind of higher up kind of gifty book too. That could be for
yeah,
something that that like, I think that that's where it could land as well. All
yeah,
right.
for sure, for sure.
All right, Julia, what do you have next?
Okay. I have my next one is, oops, let me find the right button to push to tell you. This is a memoir that is by, of course, none other than Miss Priscilla Presley.
Oh,
This is Softly as I Leave You, Life After Elvis. So Priscilla Presley wrote a memoir in the 1980s about her life with Elvis. And this is her follow-up memoir about sort of after Elvis, after they divorced. And what's really interesting about it, I think, is, she's had a lot of distance from it now. So the perspective that she comes to it with, and some perspectives on her relationship with Elvis, I think a lot of people forget she was like 14 when they met, and he was
right.
a grown adult. And like, so, maybe when they met, that was not as frowned upon as it is now. And so her sort of watching her grapple with their relationship, what it meant, there's good, bad, and ugly, and it's all here in this book. You'll probably see her. She has the cover of People magazine this week, and she's been on some of the talk shows and stuff like that, so you'll see some media from her. But if you, like me, went through a deep Elvis phase, or if you are just interested in sort of women and their stories, this is a great memoir. And Priscilla Presley, I think, a really fascinating sort of character in our lives, and I think getting her perspective on her life is a worthy cause and a worthy thing to read. So this is Softly as I Leave You.
I agree
Yeah.
because I think that here, let me pull you off. Oh, there you go. I think that it's still fascinating, not fascinating, but it's like to just see that he still has a place in our pop culture, whatever you want to call it, that it's just that and the fascination with her and her family. And yeah, I think it's very interesting. I mean, he was definitely a point in our history.
And I think, like, I think as someone who has studied history, going back and looking at people, even if they're sort of heroes, and seeing them for their good parts, but also for their flaws, I
Yeah.
think it's like a worthy endeavor. And I think looking at someone like Priscilla Presley, who's sort of thrust into the spotlight, whether or not she wanted to be, I think that's a fascinating story, and a
Right.
fascinating story to tell.
Yeah.
And
Because I mean,
sort
he
of,
was human, she was human. She just, she just wanted to be married to somebody that she loved. And then it's just like he became this other thing.
sure. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I think it's a really fascinating. It got a book list starred review as well. So, it's well done. It's not like, I do sometimes think celebrity memoirs are hard to get through, but this one is really well done. And I think,
Well, but I like them better sometimes than the biography. I mean, at least it's from her voice, whether she's writing
yeah,
it or
totally.
not. It's like it's from her, she's the one that's telling this, so that what she's saying she wants to say. So it's a good
Totally.
thing. All right, I'm going to tell you guys really quickly about one that I'm listening to since we're going into I wonder if I can bring it up here real quick. Since we're going into lightning round. I'm listening to Framed by John Grisham and Jim McCloskey, I think is who. Yeah, here we go. Let me share my screen here real quick. Um, I'm listening to it on Libro. Or maybe it's on Peerage. I'm not sure which one it is. Hold on. Where am I? Doop, 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 doop. Okay. You guys see that? Yep. Um, Not that we need anything more to enrage us, but this is incredible. I can't remember how many cases that they go through, but basically it's for people who were wrongfully convicted. And the narration is great, and it goes from, I don't see if they tell me how many there are. Anyways, it goes from a story that was written by John Grisham, and then the other story is written by Jim McCloskey. And their writing styles are a little bit different, but the way they tell these stories are very much in the way that they actually write, like how John writes his fiction. Only these are people who sometimes have spent, 34 years incarcerated for a crime that they didn't commit. Just outrageous things that, once a person is brought into custody. Oops, what did I do here? I wanted to stop sharing. Um, Once they bring somebody into custody, it's like they'll do whatever they can to prove their case, whether there's any evidence or not to it. So, anyways, highly recommend it. They're stories, quick story, but it's just like it will. I'm right. I'm listening to it while I'm driving, and so it's kind of rage driving that happens sometimes, which might not be the best thing. But oh my goodness, if you haven't heard about it, or if you have and you're questioning about it, it's very good. It's very good, and it will. I haven't got to the end to see if there's any like things that they tell us what we can do to help with the situation, but anyways, that's a good one. Okay, let's go to lightning round. So, Andrea.
Okay. I want to talk about two books in the same series. Since I think that's okay since it's just two of us today. On
Yep.
the Hero's Journey, Joseph Campbell Essentials. This is a new series, and look at these little books. They're cute. They're bite size.
Perfect little gift size things.
Yeah, they are right now at the counter at Warwick's. So run in and get these. These are great little stocking stuffers, and a great introduction to the work of Joseph Campbell. Um, Many people of a certain age will remember Joseph Campbell's work being magnified via PBS and the late great oh my God, it just went out of my head. The guy, he just died. Bill,
Oh,
it will come to me. Can't think of his name right now, but God, Bill Moyers. Thank you. Oh, holy cow.
no.
Okay, so Bill Moyer's show on PBS showcased, there was a whole series of interviews that he did with Joseph Campbell. Absolutely fascinating. I remember watching those when I was in high school and at university, and really blew me away. And then, of course, I went to check out what Joseph Campbell was about. But New World Library had acquired the Joseph Campbell Library after he passed on to keep his work out there, but um, they were losing a little bit of traction, and it just was because of how they were packaged. So about a year and a half ago or so at sales conference, I said, "Hey, listen, like I think you need to do these little breakout books on Bliss here and on the hero's journey, like just essentials, like various subject matters, like single subject small books to introduce him to a new audience and get students interested in his work again. Of course, on the hero's journey was work that the director of Star Wars like basically used to uh, create that story. So a lot of film students are interested in his work. And so these are just great for anybody who's like On the Hero's Journey is perfect for anybody who's interested in film. These are really beautiful. They've really packaged them well. So they've got all these nice little, like spot illustrations throughout. And so I don't know, that's a nice shot to show you how small they are. And so we just are so happy to see them come out with these. And I do think that over the holidays, people are going to be buying these like hotcakes, really, to put in stocking stuffers and that sort of thing. So really happy about that, Joseph Campbell. On Bliss and On the Hero's Journey. And the next one in the series is On Love that will be out around the big V Day in February. So
I love it. And I just have this picture of like just a cute person just taking a little book out of their pocket and reading it. I love that idea. Okay, Lori read Dan Brown's 671 book, Julia. So Ken Follett 700 doesn't seem scary at all to her, and she feels very smart after reading Dan Brown's. I love it. And Darcy, yes, that's Nancy's favorite book right now, the true story of Raja the Gullible and his mother. And I
yeah.
think it's shortlisted.
Yeah, no, it's been longlisted for the National Book Award.
Yep.
And along with 3 other titles from Publishers Group West, which is so great to see all of, our small indie presses being honored and recognized that way. So,
yep.
Woohoo!
So that's a good one. Yep.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Am I getting quiet again? That's so weird. Maybe that's the universe telling me not to talk. I don't know. Okay,
No.
Julia. No.
No.
It's telling me I'm too loud. Bring it down, lady.
No.
All right. Okay. All right, Julia, what do you got? Bring us home.
Okay. I've got this one, but I have another if we want extras. But the first one is E is for Edward. And it's the centennial of Edward Gorey's birthday. If you do not know Edward Gorey, he is every goth fantasy, fun, sort of a little bit dark. Let me see. Let me flip through some of these photos for you, and then I'm going to take myself off and show you the whole book because I have it next to me. But he's got these great line drawings. You've probably seen him illustrate things. There's lots of different Edward Gorey books. He sells very well at indie bookstores, but this is a huge compendium of Edward Gorey's work. And it is, like I said, a little bit dark, a little bit macabre, but very fun. And as we sort of start to think about holiday buying season, this is a big one. So here, let me take myself off. And I will show you the actual size of this baby. So here it is, Edward Gorey, E is for Edward. And it is a centennial celebration of the mischievous mind of Edward Gorey. And you can see how good.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And beautiful. This is, it's one that I've been, multiple booksellers have already requested from me. So
Beautiful.
I know. I'm like, I only have so many samples, but yeah. Yeah, I think this is a really fun one for the lead up to Halloween, but also the lead up to
Christmas, yeah, to get
the holidays.
And if you want to throw in a fourth one, go ahead real quick.
Okay, and then my fourth one is, and I did it because I wasn't able to talk about it last week, but Wolf Hall by Lenny Zumas. Or Wolf Bells, I'm sorry, not Wolf Hall. Wolf Bells by Lenny Zumas. So Lenny Zumas did what was it called? The Red Clocks, which came out like maybe 2019. And it was a beautiful book. It was so good it was like a little bit of speculative fiction of when abortion is illegal and sort of the networks that pop up when abortion is illegal. And this one takes on, in certain ways, addiction counseling. She wrote this and got the idea for it while she was in treatment for addiction, but it's really about like this house where, you know, people are sort of, I guess it's sort of a halfway house. And these people, they're talking about like community care, basically, and caring for one another. She is a beautiful writer. I can't say enough good about what an incredible writer Lenny Zumas is. She lives in Oregon, and her novels usually take place in Oregon, and you can sort of feel the drippy sort of Oregon ambiance all around while you're reading it. They're great fall books because they feel very like fall um in sort of the aesthetic, but also they're great books about people and how people interact with each other and how people sort of gain hope from each other. I think this book is I love this book. I was like read it during crunch time and I had to force myself to stop reading it because I had to move on to something else. But it is just a phenomenal novel, and I can't say enough good. And it came out last week. It's gotten a lot of press and a lot of good reviews. Yeah, and if you haven't read Red Clocks, I highly recommend that one as well.
Okay, awesome. Yep, I love that. I might have to
Yeah.
get my hands on that one because I'm in the mood for like fall movies, bringing out Practical Magic
I'm
again. We
sure.
gotta bring out all the fall stuff. So that sounds like it would be a good one. So I did look next week. We've got a couple of, is it next week already? Yeah, it is next week already. If you're in town, Mona Awad, who wrote Bunny, she wrote We Love You, Bunny is her new book coming out tomorrow. She'll be in San Diego with us. But we've got two virtual events next week. One of them is Patricia Cornwell with Dan Aykroyd again. I'm so excited. So drop what you're doing, sign up for it. It is well worth the price of admission, which is free, but it's like but Patricia will be talking about her new book, and she's awesome, but her with Dan Aykroyd, the two of them together, chef's kiss. Can't wait to host them again. So that's next Thursday. And Nick Cave's birthday. Okay. There we go. We'll wish him a happy birthday. All right. Lots of good books, lots of big, good, thick, juicy books for the fall. So you all have plenty to sit down and read. So with that, I will be gone next week, but Amanda will be here hosting. So she will be sending out to the reps, making sure that we have somebody that'll show up for us. So hopefully you guys will be there too. And happy reading, everybody. And
Yeah.
we'll see you all next week. I won't, but they will.
Thanks for
All right.
tuning in.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming in.